Hi friends, it's Sarah from Ruffles and Rain Boots, and I was asked to create a tutorial using xTool Studio's AI Make. We're going to be taking a photo and we're going to turn it into line art. Now this process, it can be used for engraving or cutting. You'll have a file at the end for either one of those processes. On the xTool Studio walkthrough that I showed you, I used this image of a happy dog. Now, these are the 3 line options inside of AI Make. As a refresher, AI Make is the AI feature inside of xTool Studio. And you can see I've used it for a lot of different things. You come inside of the image processing type, just click on that, and you have photo to line art outline, photo to line art, and photo to minimal line decor. All 3 of these have been processed for this image. So you can see this is the outline, this is the line art, and this is the line decor. Now, regardless of what you see as the actual image, all of them were built because I uploaded this dog right here, okay? So let's take a look a little bit closer. When you're looking at the outputs, you can see that these are all images. There's no grid behind them, and when we click on them, we get the image editing menu. So we always have to edit that portion by removing the background and potentially tracing or vectorizing it in some way. But we get a detail line on all 3. However, all 3 are a little bit different. This one may be better for some images. This one may be better for others, especially if you want to remove some details in the face. I'm going to show you a few examples so that you understand just because you're processing this one might be better. And honestly, the only way you're going to learn that is if you do it. So I'm going to go and show you one that I did with somebody after that tutorial. You can see we use this image and uploaded it here. But I want to show you inside my history. This image looks very different, right? This is the raw output and this is the cut. So this entire thing here was edited, and I'll show you that process. I want to show you another one because I had a specific question about, well, what about wedding photos where stuff is in the background? So as you can see, this image was taken directly off of xTool, which I want to show you. Here it is. You can use that, or you can just do like I did, which was search wedding couple, I think. Sabellus Studio. This is a free image that you can download right now and use, okay? So if you go to xTool right here, click Photos, type in, wedding, I think I typed in wedding couple. I just went through here and I just chose a free one. So that is the one I chose, and it turned into this. So this is the raw output and this is the vector. Now the number one thing you will see is that the raw output line is thinner. These are relatively, here, let me make it the same size. These are relatively the same size. See? And you can see this is thinner. Or this is thicker. This is thinner, the raw output. So we have to get to this point. And that's what this tutorial is going to be today. So let's go get a photo. This is one that I think we get a lot. So if you are looking to make money vectorizing wedding photos, this is one that we see a lot. We have a nice close-up, there's always a bouquet, and then you don't have a clean background. So this is the one I'm going to download. Now I will say, for your practice purposes, it's gonna come up with this, but bro, we don't need that. We're just gonna hit proceed with download, watch an ad, and then we're gonna save it together. Bride and groom, okay. So I'm gonna drag it in so we have a reference, but we're actually going to go straight into AI. So I'm gonna go into this AI, go to upload image. Then I'm going to do, is this the one? Yeah, today. You are going to select your crop. So if you're doing a live edge wood board or something, this one may be best. If you're doing like a square frame, this one may be best. If we can get all of the flowers in there. What's this one look like? Ooh, no. All right, let's do that one and get all of our flowers in the very, very tip of his head. All right, so that, and we're just gonna hit OK. Now, once that's uploaded and you can see your picture here, you can choose what style you want. Now, this does cost money. You buy AI credits for this. So I'm going to show you all three of them because I have a ton of AI credits. Okay, so this first one is going to be outline only. Each generation takes between 40 and 60 seconds. So I'm importing this one into the canvas. I'm just going to scale it. All right, let's go back. Now I'm going to choose photo to line art without the outline only, and I'm going to generate. All right, and then the last one is here. And we can scale it. So these are the three pictures that are outputs from AI. So we have a very simple one here. Little bit more detailed here. Will require some cleaning because I don't know what's going up with those eyebrows. And then we have something that is almost cut ready. Every single one of these will work. There's not a single one of these that you can't use. So if I'm determining what I like, this to me is much too simple. We actually lose all of the personality in both of their faces. So if your client or you are fine with that, choose it. Okay, every one of these processes is going to be the same. This removed, like totally moved his head, right? Totally moved his head. So if the client is fine with that image, then that's great. You can do this process. But I think because I don't like that they took this guy's personality away, basically, I'm not going to use it. I'm going to use this one right here. So I'm going to copy that into a working file. So I still have all of my outputs here in case the client changes their mind. Now, in order to get this file ready, we're going to do exactly what you've done before with any image file. We're going to select the image. We're going to come up here to edit. We're going to crop it if you need to. I suppose I could do a little crop. Where'd my image go? I'm just going to pull in the sliders a little bit. For me, this isn't going to be a lot. It's just going to take down processing on the other. All right. Making sure I don't remove any item. All right, now we're going to go and remove the background, which is this cut out. I don't know why it says AI cut out. It just does. We're going to do manual because all we're doing is removing all of the color. So what we want is a nice clean background. You can actually zoom in with Command Plus, or you can hit this little thing right here, and you're basically just selecting inside of here. You want to make sure that you have the correct fuzziness level before you do all this, because if you have a whole bunch of, extra around these lines, it will pick that up. So here's our original picture. And what I'm going to do is come in closer, because remember, we're vectorizing a raster image. So what I can do is just come to where there's a little bit of detail and a lot of white. If I increase the fuzziness, it's going to get, watch right around here, it's going to get closer to that edge than if you decrease the fuzziness, okay? So we are always looking for a very clean edge in whatever our focus is. If I go up just a little bit more, I don't really get much from it. So we'll just stay here. And now we go through and we remove all of the white in all of these little spaces. So now we have the entire image as an outline. Now, behind it, we can see that we don't have anything there because we can see our grid. Now from here, if you were, let me click on that. If you were to want to engrave this, you are free to do so. From right here, you can engrave, you can set your settings and engrave without doing anything else. If you want to cut, that's different. We're going to have to come back inside. I'm going to go ahead and save this because we've done some work. If you want to vectorize it for cutting or even scoring, you actually have to do one step further. Inside of our edit menu, we can come down right here to trace. We have two options. We have an auto trace, which will give us 2 lines, or we have a center trace. If you are new and you don't know the difference between auto trace, which will be the outline, or center trace, which will cut this outline you see, you can hover right here and it'll give you a little GIF or GIF, whichever you prefer, internet, about each of these processes. So you can see this one will try and find the center of the focus, and this one will go all the way around the outside of the focus. Is there a right way or a wrong way? There is. So whenever you can, try and use center line, because I'll tell you 100%, you're going to have to add an outline to this inside of the xTool Studio. So I'm going to go ahead and do center tracing. Now it's going to process. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Now, it looks a lot like we had before. Don't be fooled, because if you come into your layers panel, we now have a vector sitting on top of the image. The image is no longer of use to us, so we can lock. Actually, before we do that, just go ahead and turn it off. Then we can lock and hide it. And this is what we're left with. This is a little harder to see. I'm going to make it on the black so you can see it a little better. Okay, so this is a little harder to see because it is very thin. This is so tiny. If I zoom in and I use the application's measurement, you got nothing, my guy and gal. You got literally nothing. 0.005. I don't know what that is in millimeters. 0.13. Not even a millimeter. So we don't want this. What we do want, however, is to make any edits to this image before we add our outline. So I'm going to do something with his eyebrow because I don't know yet. That's just insane. Doesn't look good. I'm also going to take away this right here because that overlap is useless to me, right? So if I click on it, I get my vector editing menu. I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to remove this entire piece right here. So if we come back out here, it's gone, right? That's an easy edit. Why does her eyelash go over? Let's go ahead and take that away as well. I'm gonna have to zoom in a little bit more for that. I'm just gonna highlight that one. Let's see, is that good? That'll be good when we get outside of it. And then we also said we were gonna do something about this poor hand down here. My gosh. So we have a straggler right here, so we'll get rid of that. We don't want that outlining. This may look okay with the thumb. I'm not real sure yet. So I know I'm going to take this one away. So I'm just going to highlight that and delete it. Hit done. Then this one here, I don't know. I'm going to leave it for now because I want to see what happens. The flowers and then his eyebrows. Okay, so if it were me, this is just going to look too much. So I would actually remove that one. I'm trying to highlight that one right there. Thank you. And then I'd actually just take that whole thing away and just have his eyes. That way we get his nice, big, thick smile. We get his fun hair. Okay, now what we're going to do is, the easiest way I can tell you is you're going to click on this and start adding an outline. If you add an outline, that's going to be the easiest way for you to thicken up the lines. Now, what that outline looks like is 100% up to you. If you do outer shapes, then some of the outlines are not going to get thicker, right? You could manually add those outlines, or you can just start editing. And if you're brand new, it's actually easier just to start with this. So let's pretend that this is the distance we want. I'm going to hit confirm. Now again, if you go into the layers panel, you now have two vectors. We have our original vector. We can turn that off and you can see here is our outline. Now, if we were to cut this or engrave it or score it, this is now a vector that we can do. It's a thicker vector because if we use our measurement, it now runs to the right, 0.2, so almost 1/4 of an inch wide. You can cut that. I don't even know how big this thing is because we forgot the one step where you size it first. But whatever your outline is for your sized piece, that would work for me. 1/4 of an inch, my P2 can cut that like butter out of anything, right? Now, when we're looking at it though, is it good? Because just because we've done this doesn't mean it's good. We have a random piece here that's useless, it'll just burn. Another one over here. So we have cleanup to do, right? This is not it. But we also, when we're looking at this, let me go back. When we're looking at this, let me move this one over and we come down and we turn back on our vector. Does that look like that still? We lost detail. So in my opinion, that's not okay. I would not do that. I would do it again. So if I come back in here, I don't remember if I moved this one up or down. I would actually come and remove some of that distance, okay? So I'm gonna come in here first. Now I know what you're about to say, Sarah. Oh, let me just actually move this one over. There you go. You may say, Sarah, but we need it to be thick. Yeah, and you can do thick in multiple areas without losing this poor man's face. You see how that looks a whole lot better? You see the nose? Like there's actually more nose. I don't even think I love that nose though. Her nose is fine, but his nose, I think what we need to do is edit that nose. So I'm going to come back in here, and this is all your interpretation of this, right? Your client is going, so I'm going to start here and then I'm going to come out to there. Then I'm just going to double click this one. Oh, there we go. See, I think that's going to be better without that big thing on the side. So let's see. And all I did right there is remove a node and then add another node and change the Boolean or change the algorithm for it. Okay, so now I'm going to come back in and then see, even that looks better, and that's with the thicker outline. I want to see about her. I'm going to zoom into her face because let's just face it. If the bride is happy, everybody is happy. All right, so what I'm going to watch for is right in here. So we are losing a little bit of that smile. Let me go back up. I'm going to hit confirm, turn this one off for a second and see. Yeah, see how muddied that her smile becomes? So that's a no. And you can always check it like this and see if that's what you'd like, but I don't like it. So again, I'm going to go back. I'm going to turn this one back on. I'm just trying to close this path, right? Now I'm going to do the same thing as we did before with the outline. I think we went down one. I can't remember. Better. And now I'm going to turn off that one. And now we can see this one a little bit better. So if you look at it, if you look at engrave, Now it's closed. If I'm looking at these two, my distance is 1/10 of an inch basically. So I would actually add a little bit more to that. And when I say a little bit, I mean a little bit. Let's see. Oops. Oops. There we go. So then now, and remember, you can't just go because you've added another vector on top of it. So you got to take your other one away. So we still have an open mouth here. So if you look at it via engrave, you can see that still is going to be open. I'm okay with that for the shirt. I'm okay with that small one for the hair. And again, it depends on what you're doing and what you're cutting. So on this one, there's no way my laser needs to cut that right there. You can also just click one and hit, oop, there's another one right there. So I'm just taking out the ones that I think are just needlessly in there. Because again, that looks good. That's a line art drawing of the actual bouquet. And these spaces where we took that out are not distracting. So this bubbly bit here would bother the heck out of me. But for the most part, this is ready. Measurement, click. Ugh. So I'm gonna go from left to right. A little more, so we could again, as long as I don't lose that detail in her mouth, we would be fine. And again, you have to make sure, that you are adding just a tiny little bit. So I'm going to confirm, and that you are absolutely removing a previous version, right? So let's look at that one. I mean, my P2 could cut that. All right, so this right here would be the one. So then you have to make sure all these, you can actually delete these if this is your final. That one's already off. And so this one here would be good. Depending on what I'm cutting it out of, I wouldn't want to take that away. I may want to make it bigger. And by the way, if you want to make something like that bigger, you just come in here to your vector editing. You take whatever pieces are. You can zoom in like a few 1000%, so keep going. And you can actually bring this up, bring this one out, maintaining the same, that's a useless one, maintaining, a similar distance all around it. That is useless. And let's do that one. So if you wanted to, just make sure that your laser could process this a little easier and still have this nice delineation. Between her face and his shirt. I'm going to take that one away, and I'm going to make her face curve in just a little bit more. This one right here needs to be edited out. I don't know if that one's curved or not. Let's go see. No. Yeah. Let's go fix the vector. Again, you don't have to do this level of detail, but in my opinion, a finished product is only as good as you stand behind it. Oops, added one. All I'm doing is softening up this edge against her and this edge against him. That's fine. And if it were me, by the way, I would also have fixed that wiggly bit in here. Again, all you do is you start in this image. Let's go back to that. Remember this image here, or this vector, here. Turn off the image. There you go. Remember this vector here? You see his wiggly lapel? Wow, I just struggled to find that word. Lapel. So because this is a vector, you could come in here and just, goodness gracious, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. You can take all of this away. If we come up and about there, Give it a little drag to curve, and then we come up here and give it, oh, I have two there. Come up here and give it a little drag. There you go. Yeah, and then that, because that one is not touching, it'll just get it in the outline. But anyway, you would do that beforehand, just like we fixed his face, in order for you to get rid of that squiggly bit, because I can't stand the squiggly bit. That's just me. So at this point, if your machine, it can cut this thickness, you no longer have to continue editing. If you lose detail, you can always come in and edit with the vector. So this is our original image. This is our line art, no outline. And this is ready for processing. And that's it. That's all you need to do. So I have this thing called Laser Crafters for beginners. It's by my website, Ruffles and Rain Boots. You can just type in Laser Crafters xTool beginners and join us over there. As always, thank you so much for being here. I sincerely appreciate any like, any share of this video, and if you would subscribe. If you have any questions about xTool Studio, let me know down in the comments below. Thanks so much.